Okay, going down the list of movies that we have in the backlog to talk about. Thor, Love and Thunder, right now. Okay, here's another late one. Um, Thor, Love and Thunder. Initial thoughts on the movie. I wasn't thrilled to go and see this one off top, uh, which says something about the state of the MCU right now. Outside of Spider-Man: No Way Home, that was probably one of the last MCU films I was eager to catch. Being a big Spider-Man fan myself, I was really looking forward to seeing that one. Every other MCU film after that, you look at Shang-Chi, Black Widow, The Eternals, down the line. And in the mix, in the current phase, the movies in phase 4, excluding No Way Home, I haven't really been thrilled about going to go see. The exception to some of that stuff too, next to No Way Home, is some of the stuff on Disney Plus. If you've been watching things like Moon Knight, of course, WandaVision. Both of those shows are sort of top tier MCU stuff in the TV department, which says something else about where the state of the MCU right now. The other shows are good too. Loki is great. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is solid. I haven't seen Miss Marvel yet. That's next on the list to start watching. Hawkeye, I thought, regardless of its complaints and what issues people have about it, Hawkeye, I think, is still fairly strong. It's straightforward, character-driven stuff, and Jeremy Renner turns in probably some of his best work as the character of Hawkeye. But aside from all that, nothing else really got me excited about what was up with the MCU. We come now to Thor, Love and Thunder. You've likely been following the marketing campaign around it, particularly after the success of Ragnarok. If you were a fan of Ragnarok, the chances are you might like this one, with the caveat that it's more Ragnarok. That's my feeling. It was like Ragnarok times 10. And sometimes more is not always more, and I think that was what I came away from this movie was the following idea. Hey, you liked Ragnarok? Well, we're going to give you that again, but 10 times that. And again, sometimes less is more. And does that mean I wanted there to be steps back in terms of the tone? I don't know. Not necessarily, but I didn't. I'm positive I didn't want Ragnarok is special because Ragnarok is how it is. I think, and this is something that's not new to studios. When you start seeing the success of a film, studios and things want more of that same thing, or they want more stories in the vein of that thing. And I think that's not always the best move, even though it may seem like a good financial move on paper. The result sometimes doesn't feel like it's worthwhile for audience members, and I think that was the energy that I came away from with Love and Thunder. So good things about it, obviously. Off top, Christian Bale. Christian Bale acts his behind off in this movie. He is probably one of the best things about the film, if I'm being honest. I think the Natalie Portman obviously comes back in top form. She's a G. She's great. Chris Hemsworth, I have to single him out because I think him being the main character, it's easy for him to get lost in the shuffle in the positives, what you can say about Hemsworth, his performance and how he's evolved the character and really feels like super comfortable. He's always felt comfortable, but this is like he feels like he's having fun in the role, and it's not lost on me, nor should it be lost on anyone else who's seen the film, like how he's still able to mine the character for depth and pathos while still bringing some humor. He's fantastic. He's great in this film. So yeah, acting all around is great. Tessa Thompson is fantastic. Yeah, acting is great in the film. The problems really come in for me in the form of the execution. So the comedy to drama balance was off in this film, whereas I think in Ragnarok it was more balanced. And I think you lose in the pursuit of trying to get the energy of Ragnarok. I think the filmmakers behind this particular film missed a couple steps with the beefing up some of the humor. This is not a new complaint, I think, about the MCU films. How sometimes the drama to comedy ratio sometimes is not always right, and I think this is an example where the comedy there's a little too much comedy, whereas Ragnarok had a more even balance. I think too the other thing that Ragnarok had going for it was Loki, that this film Love and Thunder does not have. But you had Christian Bale. You could have done it. The problem with the inclusion of Christian Bale in this film is that he was underutilized. I think they shortchanged his the character and his arc in service of the back and forth between Jane and Thor. While that's great, and I think we needed to see them come together, and after having not seen them together in some time, we needed to see some stuff around that with them. But I think you missed an opportunity, filmmakers who are behind Love and Thunder, with Christian Bale. What I think could have been stronger, particularly with the villain of Gore, is if you approached him like Thanos in Infinity War. That film was almost pretty much centered around Thanos' journey, his quest to collect the Infinity Stones. And you have the heroes are more like the obstacles in the way. And really, you have that story is really about Thanos and Thor, their two arcs coming to a head, really. And while we're there, speaking of Thor, Chris Hemsworth, I think, gives his best performance as Thor in Infinity War. That's a whole range. That's coming right off Ragnarok, the tragedy of that, and he's playing all these different layers of really wanting to achieve justice for sort of the destruction of everything. His home Asgard is destroyed. Loki's just died. He's got his own quest to deal with. That film really does a good job at balancing not only all the characters, but really putting those two on a collision course there. And I think like that, you could have done that similar approach to Gore and Thor. Gore is also on a quest. He's not collecting Infinity Stones, but he is killing gods. So he's quest to kill all the gods. This movie could have really focused on having him do that and have us follow that and have Thor on a collision course with that, with Gore. That would have been so. All the workings of a great villain were there. You had a tragic villain who had a sort of reasons that we understood why he was doing what he was doing. Similar to Thanos. We may not have agreed to what they were doing, but we understood why they were doing what they're doing. Love and Thunder gives us that, but it doesn't really give us any depth behind it. I think you because there's not a lot of time spent with Christian Bale is Gore in the movie, you lose some of that. And I think that was a mistake with this film. The other thing is the pacing. Again, another complaint that's not new with regard to the MCU films, but I think the pacing could have been a little bit slower. You could have taken your time with more things to just let things breathe more. There wasn't a lot of space for that. Things was happening pretty quickly in the film, and I think that was an issue I had with the film. The other thing is the treatment of Jane Foster in the film. I think Natalie Portman's coming back for this movie. Similar to Christian Bale, you have a major character in Jane who we hadn't seen in a while. You bring her back in a pretty big way, and you don't give us any time to really sit with what she's dealing with for real. You don't really have any space for that. She's doing new things. I'm not going to get into the details for those of you who might not have seen it at this stage. But I think, again, things are happening too quickly for us to really, we're getting broad strokes, just enough for us to latch onto, but not enough for us to really care. And it's not enough to just have Natalie Portman back. It does a lot of that does a lot of work, and it does help us feel like, oh yeah, she's back, it's legit, boom. But it could be stronger. It could have been stronger with having more space to spend with her and her arc and all of that. I think Tessa Thompson, again, I said she's great. She's shortchanged in this movie. Jamie Alexander's Lady Sif makes an appearance. I feel like they shortchanged her too. Whatever. Those are just my issues with the film. Overall, look, it's not a terrible film. It's watchable. But I think if you have a choice between Love and Thunder and Ragnarok, definitely you can do a whole lot worse than Ragnarok. Ragnarok is easily, I think, the stronger film. And Love and Thunder is just one of those another MCU effort that is it doesn't match the energy, the sort of standard of the films that were coming out in the previous phases. And I don't know if that's just a phase 4 thing, and maybe it is. I mean, maybe it's not. Because right now, No Way Home is probably still the strongest recent MCU entry, I think, right now. So we'll see what happens with newer releases after that. But yeah, my 2 cents. Thor Ragnarok is it's okay. It's not terrible. It's not great. I would put it in the middle somewhere. If you saw it, let's talk about what you think. My review is up on Letterboxd as well. I don't know how many of you out there deal with that, but Letterboxd is kind of a cool community of film heads, and a lot of people have fun opinions on there. So I've been enjoying putting my reviews up there. So definitely, if you're interested, check that out. Yeah. So I think that's it. For right now for Love and Thunder. I might come back and make another video, but those are my general thoughts on the film. Thank you if you stayed around watching this video this long, thank you for your time. I know there are a lot of things competing for your energy and for your space, and so if you've watched this video and made it to the end, I appreciate you taking the time to do that. I'll be back here. I have a list of movies to talk about. So I'll be back here with another video coming up real soon. So in the meantime, I'm out. See you later.